Namaste. Begin in mountain position. Going to do sun salutations. Open the hip joints slightly, rock slightly back and forth, hands together, prayer position. Inhale, lift the arms up, shoulder blades down the back, neck long, low back long, lifting the low rib cage, lifting the chest as you inhale and as you exhale. Keep the low back long as possible, then fold at the hip joint. As you fold, reach out with your low rib cage and your chest. Your knees could bend slightly. Each exhale, progress through and lengthen the hamstring some, but the knees could stay bent. The main thing is to lengthen your low back. Keep your neck fairly quiet. From here, you're going to take your left leg back, the left knee on the ground. Push your hands off the right thigh. Push your right hand off the left thigh. Take your left thumb on the sacrum. Open the chest. Lengthen the low back by lifting the low rib cage. Your chin is in at 90 as you lift and open the chest. From this position, fold forward, hands near the right foot. Swing your right foot back. Lift the pelvis. Lift your low belly. Hike the pelvis up as high as you can and then stretch left heel of foot as you bend the right knee. And then bending the left knee, stretch the right heel of foot. You're lifting both hips as you do so and opening the shoulders. Dog position. Lift the pelvis higher, open the chest, shoulder blades slide up the back and then down onto your knees. Tuck the pelvis, lean forward into cobra. Make sure your low back is long enough. You could always come down to your elbows if on your hands is too much. As you inhale, pull out low ribs. Lengthen, pull up with the head and the chest. As you push down with the arms. This is cobra. Hook under with your toes, back into down dog position. Fold the low belly up. Open both shoulders. As you exhale, specifically open the shoulders. Then bend right knee, stretch left heel of foot. And bend left knee, stretch right heel of foot. And then lift again, open the shoulders, open your arms out. And then swing your left knee forward between the hands. Right knee comes down. You'll push off left knee with your left hand, your right hand onto the sacrum. Lift the low rib cage, your chest opening, shoulders going down the back, neck long, opening your right quad, making sure you're getting enough length out of your low back. Breathe slowly as you're here. Then hands forward and swing your back leg forward into the folded forward bend. Lift the pelvis. Your knees could be bent slightly. We want length throughout the whole back. Chin is in, gently tucked. It's at 90 degrees. As you inhale, you lengthen. As you exhale, you lengthen. The hamstrings slowly straighten. Now bend the knees and begin to come up. Take your arms up, arch up back. Making sure you get length through the upper belly so your low back's okay with the arch. Shoulder blades down the back, neck comes out of the shoulder blade area going down. We're opening and then come down into prayer position. Namaste. That's our first round of sun salutation. We'll begin round 2. Inhale, raise your arms, open up into the forward back bend, open the chest, lift as high as you can with the low rib cage, maintain enough low back length. And then fold. We're breathing slow and steady. Fold as you exhale. Lift the low belly, lift the sitting bones, pull out with the low rib cage. Slowly begin to straighten the legs. They don't have to fully straighten. Your low back should be long as possible. Chin gently tucked. Each exhale lengthening through. Inhale fairly steady. Now take your right leg back. This time we're going to be in the warrior position with the back knee off. However, the back knee slightly bent to begin so the sacrum comes square forward, opening that left knee slightly, then dropping the pelvis, lifting the low ribs. Your arms are coming up back, shoulder blades down the back as you maintain the lift of the upper belly. Breathing here in this warrior position. Complete warrior, hands forward next to left foot swings up back, into down dog position. Invert the low belly, lift the low scapula gently, open the shoulders, open the chest, legs stretching gently. Main idea is to invert the low belly up as high as you can, so the shoulders can open, like a dog getting up from a rest, or a cat. And then down to your knees, tuck the pelvis, lean forward, roll your shoulders back down, lengthen the neck, and push down with your arms into cobra. Like a cobra snake, rearing up, lifting through. You pull out and then lift up. And hook under with your toes, lift up to down dog, knees slightly bent, shoulders opening, the low scapula lifts. Lengthen the back of the neck a little bit. Each exhale, reestablish the lift, and then open the shoulders. On the inhale, pretty steady. Knees could be slightly bent, heels off the floor some. And then swing your right foot forward between the hands. Push off the right knee with your hands, lift the torso, come up into warrior, your back knee bent just slightly, the sacrum settling down, the upper belly lifting, the lower shoulder blade area dropping, arms up back, fairly straight up back. It's a warrior position. Stay on balance and then lean forward, come forward, swing the back leg forward into a standing forward bend. Inhale, lift the low belly. Exhale, reach through, maintaining the length of the low back and the mid back. So we have some back work going on as the hamstrings begin to straighten. Don't have to fully straighten them. Breathing slowly, steadily, facing the earth, and then coming up, opening your arms up, and facing upward with your chest, protecting your low back through the lift of the upper belly. Shoulder blades settle down the back so the arms can come back a little bit more. This depends on your low back. You're breathing steadily and then come down into prayer position. Namaste. This is all the sun salutations we'll do for now. Spread your legs about leg distance apart. Fold forward. As you fold forward, hold the ankles and shift from side to side. Lift one side of the pelvis, then the other. Shift. Your knees are slightly bent, and you're shifting, loosening around your low back and the hamstring connection. And then pull yourself forward and come on up. Take your legs to a turned out 45-degree angle. Your feet are the same angle of turnout. Your elbows can push to the inner knees. You're going to wedge the elbows in and try to tip the pelvis up, showing it sideways. The thing you don't want to do is round your back. You could keep your arms up onto the quads, edge of the knees. It makes it a little bit easier to keep the back flat. The feeling is that the pelvis pulls up back and the chest pulls out and the neck stays long. You can see the length of the spine here. It's called low horse. It's an inner thigh stretch. And then come on up to a standing position. Circle around your hips a little bit. Roll your shoulders. And now we'll do some of the classic standing poses. Triangle. Turn your left foot open. Fold into your left hip joint. Left hand comes down. The left knee is ever so slightly bent. Left hand onto the left shin. And then your right hand is going to help that right hip to roll open. The left side of the sacrum should slide back towards the outer right foot, and then the right hip can open, and then the ribs can turn back right, both shoulder blades back, and then reach your right arm up. Your neck should stay long. On the inhale, steady. On the exhale, pelvis back, low ribs out, shoulder blades back, neck out. This is triangle. Reach through the arms, and then inhale, come up, out. And second side. Turn your right foot open. Your left foot's pretty much straight forward. You're a little more than a leg distance apart. Fold that right hip joint. A slight give in the right knee initially. Reach out with your low rib cage. The pelvis low rib cage area is sorting out. Your right hand touches the right shin, right ankle. Left hand helping to open that left hip joint. Maintain the length of spine. Then your left arm comes vertical. As you inhale, lengthen out. As you exhale, shift the pelvis back toward the outer left foot. Reach out with your low ribs, shoulder blades and the necks separate away from each other. Reach through the arms, triangle pose. Breath by breath, you're just moving through the pose. Inhale, come up. Next pose will be the extended side angle. Bend your left knee, your left foot is turned out, and your right foot straight forward. Left knee bends just short of 90 degrees. Your left forearms are resting onto the left quad. Then you're reaching your right arm up over the right side of the head. On the inhale, steady. And then you could come down a little lower with that left arm and wedge it to the inner knee, the arm, and the hand on the ankle. Then from here, your right hip joint is rolling open. The right ribs are rolling open. Your right shoulder blades pulling back. You're turning, looking back right. Maintaining the length of spine. On the inhale, steady. On the exhale, re-lengthen through the right side of the body in particular. Your left hip has to maintain its openness. Inhale, come up, out, and we'll walk our way over to the second side. Bend your right knee. Your forearm rests onto the quad. You'll use the forearm to help open that right hip joint. The outer right buttock wraps around and then aims towards the left foot. Left hand's on the left hip. Then the left arm's going to reach out through, across, past the head. Now open the right hip joint with your forearm and then roll the left hip open. Roll the left low rib cage open. Lengthen through that left arm. Keep the chin in at 90. You're trying to have a long line of energy through the left leg, the left waistline, the left arm, and the neck stays long included. As you inhale, you're steady. As you exhale, you re-lengthen, opening that left side. Extended side angle. Breath by breath, we move as we're in each pose. Come out of the extended side angle. Now, turn towards the left foot and bring your right knee down. This is a forward lunge. You're going to push off of both knees. We did this position in the sun salutation. However, we're going to advance it by bringing your right elbow across to the outer left knee. You're going to push that left knee open. Both shoulder blades should stay down the back. The right shoulder blade tends to dip up towards the neck. Keep it back down, your neck long, your left hand, and then from there, hook under, come out of the twist. Hook under with your right foot, and then reestablish that crossed over position, extended side angle crossed over. Your right elbow is pushing against the outer left knee. Your left knee is pushing out against the elbow. The low rib cage is what goes. It turns. It's a balance challenge. And then come out. It should feel good on your low back. It's a nice low back twist. Into down dog. Breathe a couple breaths. Swing your right knee forward. Your left knee is going to come down. And then your left elbow is going to come across the right knee. The right knee pushes out, and yet the left arm holds. What turns is the low rib cage, your chest. Come out of that and then hook under with your left foot. Come across with your left elbow. And establish balance by being strong through the back leg. Your back foot shouldn't pivot. The base of the big toe is strong through that left side. Your left leg is strong. Then you're lifting the chest and turning to the right and then come out into down dog position. That was extended side angle crossed over. Now from here we're going to do half pigeon. Swing your left knee forward between the hands. You're on the left shin. Your right hand holds the edge of left knee. Left hand onto the sacrum. Pulling out with the low rib cage. Both shoulder blades back. Lengthen the neck. It's a nice outer left hip stretch and a low back stretch. If possible, your left hand might hold the left ankle. If not, you just push off the sacrum and finish the half pigeon with twist. Come back to down dog position. Open the shoulders and then swing your right knee forward between the hands Your right buttock is slightly off, and you're going to take left hand across to the right knee, pushing off the sacrum with your right hand, pulling out with your low rib cage, your right hip is stretching. You could possibly hold the right foot with your right hand or push off the sacrum, lengthening through the back, lengthening through your neck, both shoulder blades back, and come out of the half pigeon up to down dog position. From here, we're going to come to standing, so walk your feet till they're together and move your pelvis, find a standing position. And next we're going to move on to some one-legged balances. Your legs a foot distance apart or so, shift slide side to side. And from here, standing through your left leg, we're going to take the right foot to the inner left thigh. It could go down by the knee or up a little higher. Your right hip joint is open. You're stabilizing the left hip as you lift the rib cage and then lift the arms. It's called tree pose. So imagine the rooting structure of a tree, your standing leg, and then the right hip opens and your ribs lift like the trunk of the tree, and your arms are like the branches and the leaves. Breathing steadily, your left hip joint maintaining its open position, and come down from the first side. Loosen around your hips, prepare to stand on to the right leg. Open that right knee slightly, the right hip slightly opens. First your right knee slightly bent, your left foot to the inner right knee or slightly higher. As you find the stability through the right leg, your left hip joint opens, we lift the ribs, your arms could come up, they could stay in prayer position. You're grounding down through the right leg, lifting through the low ribs, your arms reach up, steady like a tree. Just tune into some of the magnificent trees that you have seen in your life. Down through the right leg, up through the ribs, reach through, growing like a tree, growing up towards the sunshine. And then come down slowly. And we're going to be ready for the next standing position, one-legged balance. It's a tree with a twist. Now take your right foot forward with your left knee slightly bent. The right foot to the inside left knee. Your left hand's coming across to the right knee. Your ribs lift. You're going to turn your torso back right. Your right arm extending back, parallel to the floor, back right. As you lift and turn, the eye gaze is tricky. Of course, the standing leg is the key. We don't turn the standing leg hip. It stabilizes as the ribs lift and turn. Your gaze slowly turns, but it fixates on certain points, and it may never quite look back. Come out of that side. Prepare to stand on the second side in a rotated tree. Standing through the right leg, take your left foot forward to the inner right knee. Your right hand comes across to the outer left knee. Your low ribs lift. Both shoulder blades back. The key is the right hip joint not turning. The low rib cage lift and turn. Both shoulders down the back. The neck stays long. You turn the gaze, but not too quickly. You fixate at a certain point, slightly around. And then maybe you turn a little bit more, and you turn your gaze a little bit more. The key is to be steady on the right leg. Breathe carefully, slowly, and then come out and move your legs and your pelvis and your low back. I'm going to do one more one-legged balance. This posture is called the dancer's pose. Hold the right ankle as you bend the right knee. You're standing stable through the left leg, not a locked leg. The pelvis is down and you're pulling your right foot back, but the low ribs are pretty much vertical. So your low back has no issue with the pose. Opening the chest, reaching through that left arm up, and then we'll take the left hand back and hold the right ankle with the left hand as well. Now this is a little trickier balance. And so as you're here, you have to make sure that left leg works well. And then come out of that side, the dancer's pose of that side. Stand through the right leg, you'll bend the left knee. You're going to hold the left ankle with your left hand. Raise your right arm up. And then start to bring your left knee back. Your right outer hip remains wrapped open so the right knee doesn't turn in. Pelvis down, lower ribs up, both shoulder blades down. Your right arm reaches up. Dancer's pose. Breathing, opening as you inhale, steady as you exhale. And then bring your right arm down and hold the left ankle. Pull your left foot back. You're opening your left quad, lifting the low rib cage. The balance is trickier with both hands on the ankle. Keep steady as you can. Breathe slowly. And then come down from there, and we're finished with the one-legged balances for this routine. Now spread your legs a leg distance apart. Fold forward. Your knees slightly bent. You're lifting the low belly. I'm showing it from the side. The key to all forward bends is that you pull your low ribs open, and so you may not go as low as I'm going here. You could bend your knees and raise up. Now another position to help the mid-back work is to weave your fingers back. And this takes some shoulder flexibility, but it helps to waken up that mid-back, and then it's easier to keep a lengthened low back and a whole back. So if you do hold the ankles, maintain that length of spine, whatever height you need. Your knees could bend to whatever degree they need, so you keep the lengthened spine. Finish the forward fold, and then we're going to come down onto our knees into prayer position. Sit back onto the heels of the feet. Your forehead's going to rest onto the ground, and your arms stretch gently forward. Rest after the work of the standing positions that we've been doing. Now come out of the prayer position, and we're going to come onto our belly. We're going to do some core work. The first part of the core work is going to be core work for our low back. Lying on your belly, your legs straight back. Lift your legs, not as high as possible, but lift them up, lift your chest. The main work is in the low back. You're trying to create length through the low back even though the muscles are working. So as you inhale, pull out with the rib some. As you exhale, reach back through the feet. That's the main thing, is to strengthen these low back muscles. Pull your chest open, shoulder blades back. This is the locust posture. Legs like the grasshopper, like a locust. Come down with your legs. Take your hands under the forehead. Rest your forehead on the top hand. It's like a crocodile on the side of the river. So just take a break, a few breaths. And then we're going to try the locust one more time. Very important to have strong low back muscles, especially working on the multifidi muscles here. Raise your legs. Both feet are together. Now, the second time as you raise the chest, your arms can raise too. Still the shoulder blades retract back. You're pulling your legs back. Now, possibly the arms come forward. If it's too much with the arms forward, just keep your arms retracted back. Breathe through. As you exhale, lengthen through, and then come down with your hands, down with the legs, and swing back to prayer position. And then we're going to come onto our back and rest. As you lie on your back, take your knees in, take your hands around the knees, squeeze the knees as you exhale, lengthening your low back. This should feel good on your low back. Your head is resting back into the floor, your back muscles rest back. Come down the mid part of the shin, squeeze, get you a little bit lower in the back. You're squeezing as you exhale, releasing as you inhale, squeeze. And then we're going to do some core work for the abdominal muscles. Take your legs vertical, heels of the feet together, lower your legs straight out to 3 feet to 1 foot off the ground, depending on your stomach strength. Your low back is slightly off the ground, your toes are turned out, you're reaching through as you exhale, trying to create abdominal length. The abdominal muscles are working, but try to keep as long as you can, even though the low back's off the ground. Bend your knees, come in, hold the knees. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, release. Go down the shins, exhale, squeeze. And inhale, release. Now we're going to do it again. Take your legs back to vertical, arms out to the side. Lower your legs. As you lower the legs, you have the test as you get out there 3 feet above the ground or lower. Your low back comes slightly off, but you're reaching through the abdominal muscles as much as you can. Your legs, your quads are working. Mainly your abdominal muscles are working. Long as you can, reach through the feet, away from the shoulder blades, away from the neck. Reach through. Exhale, you're reaching. Inhale is pretty quick. Inhale, come on in. So we need to have a strong core, and that's what we're working on here. Now the next is going to be a core for the neck. You're going to raise your head slightly with your legs straight out. And so it doesn't look like much is happening, but there's no weight on the head. So your hair is lightly touching. You're looking straight up. As you exhale, you're lengthening through. You see my chin at 90 degrees. It's core neck work. We need to have strong necks. A couple more breaths. Reach through as you exhale, trying to create length. It's hard work in the neck. Inhale, steady. Exhale, reach through, and then head down, and let your head turn side to side. You're relaxing the back of the neck, relaxing the whole neck. Now take your hands above the head, pull your elbows forward on top of the head, beyond the head, lengthen the neck, and then from there we're going to come into bridge pose. Bend your knees, take your feet by the pelvis, heels of the feet as close as they can be to the pelvis, then raise up, raise your pelvis, raise your low ribs. Your hands could hold the ankles, or they could weave together. We'd like to see the heels of the feet down, feet parallel. The feet tend to splay out. Think toed in to keep parallel. As you breathe, you're pulling out on the inhale. As you exhale, you're angling the sacrum toward the line of the knees and your low ribs out. You can see the belly long as you exhale. Inhale, you're expanding the ribs. Exhale, reaching the pelvis toward the line of the knees and pulling your upper belly and low ribs away. This is bridge pose. Breath by breath, you reach it through. You push with the feet to help the pelvis, and you pull with the low ribs to open the chest. Your neck is in a stretch position. Raise the heels of the feet, undo your hands, come down onto your back, and bring the knees in. Hold the knees, squeeze, rock, or squeeze as you exhale, and release as you inhale. Next position is going to be fish pose. Fish pose can be done in lotus. Here with the straight legs, you're pushing off the ground with your elbows. Your elbows are walking down, your chest is lifting. You come on to the top of the head. The throat is stretching. Now the back of the neck is short, but you don't want a pinched feeling there. Not that much weight on the head. You're pushing with the elbows to try to keep the weight up off the head. And so your neck is stretching, the front of the throat is stretching, chest is opening, fish pose. Breathing slowly, and then come out, bring the chin in, let the back of the neck lengthen, bend your knees, walk in with your feet, and then hold the knees and squeeze. So let your back stretch out. And now we're going to come into possibly the full back bend, your feet by the buttock, hands under the shoulders. Exhale, push and raise your pelvis, raise your chest. Lift the chest. You're pushing with the feet. Your knees don't splay open. You're using your pelvis, using your legs, opening the chest. Ideally, the arms begin to straighten as your chest comes over. If this is too hard, you're doing bridge pose instead. Breath by breath, you're moving. It's a full wheel, chakrasana. And so yes, you can see the beauty of the pose. And then down slowly. Back of the head, shoulders, mid-back, low back, and then knees in. Squeeze. Let your low back stretch out. Now, bending your right leg as it comes up, wrap your left leg around. You're going to take your right foot on the floor and you're going to come across. This is Gruda leg wrap position. Your knees are coming across to the right. Your right hand onto the top knee, onto the left outer thigh. Left hand reaches out. And then from the Garuda leg position, straighten your left leg, and your right foot comes on the left knee, right hand on the edge of the left knee, stretching your left outer hip, rolling back left. It's a nice left low back stretch. Chiropractors do this to get lumbar adjustments or SI adjustments. And then come out of that twist, bring your left knee in, hold the knee, and then to the second side. Bending that left knee slightly, wrap your right leg around. Your left foot's coming to the ground, then you're going to twist across to the left. Your left hand to the right knee, which is the top knee here. The pelvis rolling down away from the ribs, your ribs turning back right. Stretching your right low back and your right outer hip out. As you exhale, you roll the right hip down and turn back right, keeping length. And then from here, straighten your left leg, your right foot onto the left knee. Your crossed over knee can go a little bit lower with the left hand pushing on it. Your right hip still rolls down away from the ribs. Your ribs turn back right. Should feel good on your right outer hip and low back. And then come out of the twist. Bring your right knee into the chest, squeeze it, and then bring both knees into the chest. Now rock a little bit, up and back, and then rock to a seated position. And we're going to do a seated twist. Swing your left leg under the right, your left foot by the right hip. Your right knee comes up and across, your right foot, sole the foot down, and then your left elbow comes across and you're pushing off the right outer knee with your left arm or the crook of the left elbow, the inside. Your right sitting bone should touch. Now your left leg could be straight if your right hip goes way up. So on the exhale, your right sitting bone drops down, your lower ribs lift, we roll back right. You're pushing off the outer edge of the knee with your left arm or pulling off it. Your chest is open, shoulder blades both down, your neck long, looking over the right shoulder. You progress, especially as you exhale, and then come out of that side of the twist. Take your legs out, then bring your right leg under and the left leg up over. Your left foot's by the left outer hip. Now drop that left hip, your right hand's coming across, or the elbow, or really the crook of the elbow, probably in most cases. But here you see now the left hip down, the left elbow is slightly bent, the chest lifting. You can see the length of the spine. You're trying to lift and turn. Don't round your low back. Lift through the low rib cage. As you exhale and turn. As you inhale, reestablish the lift. As you exhale, pushing off the knee with your right arm, lifting the chest, turning back right. Both shoulder blades stay back down. And then come out of the twist, and we're going to try another outer hip stretch. It's called cow face. So maintain that left knee on top with the right knee under. You're sitting between the feet. Ideally, the top knee drops. Now, if it doesn't drop and you're tight in the hips, you just go back to the twist we did the posture before. If that top knee is dropping and both knees feel okay with it, allow the outer hips to stretch as you lean forward. You could push off the feet and then come out of that side. Swing your left leg under and the right leg over. The 2 feet to the sides of the pelvis. Ideally, that top knee drops, the right knee drops. As I mentioned, the first side, you can just take it as a twist if the top knee doesn't drop, if the hip is so tight. Now, pushing off the feet, lean forward if the hips give enough to get into this cow face pose. Always maintaining length of spine. As you inhale, lengthening out. As you exhale, re-lengthen out. You can see the neck is generally at 90 degrees. And then come out of the cow face position. And we're going to spread your legs forward and sideways. Now, they don't spread as wide as possible, but take them out and sideways, and then shift the pelvis and the ribs. Now, shift over and let's go towards the left. You could use a strap above the foot and hold the strap if your hamstrings are tight. On all forward bends, we want the low back to be as long as possible, so we don't want to round the back much at all. Here my right hand is holding the left foot on top of the toes. My left hand's to the outside of the left leg. I'm pulling my chest out towards the top of the left knee. Left hamstring fairly straight, but it could be bent. We want the low back long. You can see the neck stays long. The right leg doesn't turn in. It stays slightly open. Reach through as you exhale, lengthening through the hamstring, and then come up out of that side. And we're going to change the stretch angle of your low back. So your left shoulder goes to the inside of that left knee, and then turning back right, your low rib cage pulls out, and that top arm, the right arm, might come to the foot. Likely it's going to be just above the foot. So you're lengthening that right low back, the right waistline, your right sitting bone slightly off the ground, but you're reaching through. The left hamstring, of course, has a lot to do with how far you go. And then come out of that. And then we're going to work our way over to the right leg. You could use a strap and bend the knee. We want the back long. Here I'm showing it with my left hand holding the right foot, right hand to the outside of the right leg. Your lower ribs pulling out and turning towards the right. Your right hamstring begins to straighten. It doesn't have to be fully straightened. The main issue is our low back lengthening. So breath by breath, we're reaching through the right leg, turning the torso some towards the knee. Neck stays long, low back stays long, shoulder blades stay down the back, opening that right hamstring. And then go to the inside of the right knee with your right shoulder. Your right hand goes towards the foot. Then your left hand comes up towards the right foot as well. It's a left low back lengthener. Fit the neck in. And try to keep the arms between the head so the head stays back and the right, both shoulder blades stay back. Reaching through that left waistline and then coming out of the pose. And we're going to do a couple more forward bends. With your right leg straight forward, bend your left knee. Take the left foot by the inner right thigh. Lean out there. Take your left hand onto the right foot. Right hand to the outside of the right shin. Pull out with your low rib cage. Certainly you could always be using a strap here. Breath by breath, as I'm showing there, that would be what the strap would look like. Breath by breath, or you could do the lotus. It depends on your knee. Don't force lotus ever. Wherever your left foot ends up is okay as you fold over the right hip joint. Your low back is long. You're reaching through the right hamstring, breathing slowly. On the inhale, steady. On the exhale, reaching out through the right hamstring and the low back. Keep your neck in. And then come out of that first side. And you'll bend your right knee. As you bend the right knee, you'll place the right sole of foot to the inner left thigh. You could have a pillow under that right thigh if your knee's up. And fold forward over the left hip joint, your right hand coming onto the left foot. You can use a strap if your back is tight. We want the low back to be long as you're in the forward bends. So holding the strap or the foot with your right hand, you're folding. It's a slight twist left. Your low ribs pulling out as you inhale and then re-pulling out as you exhale. The chin in slightly. It's a left hamstring stretch, so you're slowly reaching to the back of the left leg. The left knee could be slightly bent, depends on your back. We want the back to be long. Or, as I'm showing here, the foot could come across in half lotus. Don't force that. Open that left hamstring, let your low back reach out, a slight turn towards the left as you exhale. On the inhale, you're steady. On the exhale, reaching out with the low rib cage. Chin is in slightly. Hamstring opening, low back long, especially on the right side. And then slowly come out of the seated forward bend. Ease your way out with the right leg. And come onto your back. As you come onto your back, move a little bit, get comfortable, and then bring the knees in. Hold around the knees. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, release. Come down the shins a little bit lower. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, release. And down to about mid-shin area. Exhale, squeeze, release. From here, we're going to do a series of movements called deer posture. Spread your feet about shoulder distance apart or pad distance apart. You can see the feet are down from the hips some. Then both knees have gone over to the left, and then both knees swing over towards the right. The stretch is through the left quadricep and the left low back. And then up and over to the left again. Your right knee comes close to the left foot, wherever the left thigh goes. And then you're turning back right, the left knee coming close to the right foot. Really stretch down through the left side as you turn that way. And then come back to center. And then either cross at your ankles and open the knees. Take your arms up above, one hand holding the opposite elbow with the elbows bent. Or the soles of the feet can be together in cobbler. And you're breathing while you're here in this position. So you're resting back, breathing. The hip joints are opening just through gravity. Breathing Ujjayi breath. And then bring your legs in towards each other. And then we'll straighten our legs down. The feet go in and out. The heels of the feet about a foot or a foot and a half apart. Finally, the toes drop open, the feet drop open. Your arms are down, palms face up, and a little bit away from the thighs. And you rest back into corpse pose. As you're here, check the body out. Relax your shoulders, roll them back down a little bit, lengthen the neck, chin in slightly, and just breathe. Feel the whole body heavy back into the floor, the legs heavy back, your arms heavy back, your back muscles and abdominal organs and chest and neck all heavy back, the head heavy back, eyes relaxed. So the whole body rests back into corpse position. Feel like all parts of the body are being equally affected by gravity. All parts being pushed back, so you feel this relaxation of the whole body in corpse position. As your body is relaxed, your mind is free. Let your consciousness soar for a moment as we've taken good care of the body. Breathe a few more breaths like this, and you're welcome to stay here for much longer. Or move your feet and your wrists and your ankles, and then finally bring the knees in, squeeze, and you prepare to come up out of corpse pose. Namaste. May the practice of yoga serve your body, mind, and soul.